question I get all the time is, why are you calling sellers that aren't actually selling? Like, they're not listed on the market, they haven't hired a broker. Like, why are you calling them? Why don't you just call the sellers that have raised their hand that already want to sell? They've got it listed on the market. Here's the thing, is I would say 90% of my deals come from off market, right? Not on market. And here's why. And it might be obvious to some, it might not be to some, but if they're listed, they're super competitive. Everybody's eyes have been on them. They are on them. They're getting hit up in every which direction, and it's just super competitive. So you'll see a lot of times there's like this saying that brokers will say, it's like, submit your highest and best offer. It's like, you're probably overpaying, right? At that point, there's a time and place to buy stuff like that, but it's still got a pencil. So there's never a time and place to overpay. But if it's like preserving wealth and you're buying like an A-class asset, that's a whole different story. But we're talking like making money now, value add, all that stuff. You're not going to find this stuff on the market 99% of the time. All right, so I just want to scratch that. I know a lot of people have like on-market strategies where they just send a ton of LOIs and they kneecap people, meaning like it's just a bunch of low offers and then they might get lucky. And yeah, you might get lucky. But I'm talking about like a repeatable system. Don't get me wrong, there's always going to be that instance when you reach out to somebody and they just had enough and they're going to sell. Cool, I get it. I like off-market stuff. Like one that I got under contract last week, it was a smaller park, 23 units, so I'm not buying it, I'm assigning it. But it was off-market, and I had reached out to the seller like a year ago. All right, and they wanted to sell, but they wanted too much. No problem, right? Well, then I reached out last week, and I'm like, hey, do you still want to sell your park? Like, I saw it didn't sell. It was an expired listing. And they listed it again. And they're like, yeah, actually we do. I'm like, cool, we hold paper. And, I went into the whole conversation, right? Which I have videos on how I do acquisitions. But, we ended up getting a 7.5% interest rate, 35-year amortization, meaning it's, the payments are stretched out for 35 years. We did that because the payment needed to be like $1,800 a month. Because this person was structuring, he wanted to make money out the gate and borrow some money for infill, like to put new units. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I got it under contract. I'm assigning it to him, and he's a one-on-one client of mine, by the way. So it's going to be a banger deal. But that was off market, right? Another one I'm negotiating right now, another off market. Like, it's outside of Dallas, and he agreed verbally or through text, and now we're just working through the details. But I think I'm gonna get a 0% interest seller finance deal. They don't all have to be seller finance, right? But I always ask if they'll hold paper on a park, because it's easier to get refinanced if you already have a loan and you've owned the park, right? It's just easier to get a loan. To get an initial loan, it's a bit harder. You can do it, but if you're not experienced, it's kind of tough. So, I got another one under contract off market last week too, big park, and it didn't fit my buy box. She ended up backing out the next day. She was super emotional. I'm sure she'll come back. But just stuff like that, and the way I find these deals is a lot of different ways. I'll pull expired listings, from like Mobile Home Park Store. I'll use Google Maps to pull the parks in the area, and I'll call all the owners. People think like that's crazy, but like I'll call every single owner that pulls up on Google Maps. And for one, a lot of deals are relationship based, right? So like I figure if I call them and get a good relationship, or try to, then at some point they're gonna think about me, and I can either buy it from them if it fits my box. I could wholesale it. I could list it because I'm a broker, but I get the relationships. I have a VA that just puts them on a Google sheet and I just call them. That's it. There's no special sauce to the acquisitions on this. And if you can't reach them, send them a mailer, right? Like write out a letter and send it to them. I know that a lot of people want the easy button in acquisitions. Like, where can I just buy the leads, get the dopamine hit, right? But this is just how I do it. And I've got 3 under contract in the last week and a half, right? So it's just talk to more sellers, get more reps. But here's the thing is you need to know how to underwrite these things and you need to know how to talk shop. So if you don't, listen to some of my previous episodes, get the reps in, and you'll get better and better. You'll have more conversations. But absolutely, off-market strategy is by far way better than anything you're going to do. And here's a real big tip is if you got time, I say if you got time, you should make time. All the parks in your local area, you should drive through them. All right? Like, drive through them and then skip trace the owner and call them. Call them and say, hey, I drove through your park earlier. If you liked it, I really liked it. Or whatever. Oh, man. It's early. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to edit that out either. I don't usually edit these. These are raw for y'all. But, I had a dude that owned 190-something unit the other day. And he's like, hey, I want this amount. And it was a bit more than I thought he should, be asking. But, hey, it was his asset, whatever. And he's like, but drive through it. Let me know what you think. And I'm like, cool. So, I got this relationship with this dude that owns a 190 unit 30 minutes from me, right? That's a big deal. Here's the other thing when you're making calls, doing acquisitions for parks, is it's not all about the buy. It's like, you're going to run across a lot of people that are like, I'm not selling. It's like, cool, you buying? Hell yeah. Cool, I'll put you on my buyer's list. I'm not really, sometimes, I don't ever say, what's your buy box? I might say, what kind of stuff you like buying, And they'll either tell me or they won't. If they do, I'll note it, on my buyer's list. On my acquisition sheet. And everybody that has interest in buying or selling, I put I highlight green and I put them into my CRM. But if not, I don't put them on the CRM because I don't want a bunch of junk leads. I want high intent leads. Whether they're buying, selling, sell one day, my pipeline kind of looks like new lead, contacted, haven't got a hold of, wants to sell one day, wants to buy, wants too much. That's my normal mobile home park pipeline. So when I open it up, I know exactly what the hell I'm looking at. So I hope that helps. And also, just remember, stuff that's listed, you're usually wasting energy. Unless it's been listed for let's say over 200 days. If it's been listed over 200 days, they're starting to build some distress there. But remember, in the park world, stuff is generally listed longer because commercial deals just take longer to close too. They take longer to find that buyer that might have, not everybody's got $1 million or $1 million financing, or the experience or whatever. There's a certain particular there's a lot of money out there. I'm not saying that. It's crazy how many millionaires are out there. It's I don't know. I'm a screw up the statistic, but 1 out of 10 people or something crazy like that. So there's a lot of money out there. But what I'm saying is the subset of people that have money or financing that want a park, that want to actually deal with a park, that have the infrastructure to manage a park and take that responsibility on. It's a finite group. It's large, but it's finite. So stuff will be listed longer. That being said, to circle back around, 200 plus days listed, there might start being some distress creeping in, but I wouldn't count it like you would a single family property that's been listed 200 days, Hope this helps. Leave your questions below. It's Property Profits Podcast. I'll keep dropping the gems in the fire for you. Just let me know what questions you have. Hit subscribe to whatever you're listening or watching this on. Refer it to a friend. means the world. I don't really run ads for this or anything. This is just for y'all. So follow me on Facebook, Instagram, all the socials. I usually respond if you send me a message on Facebook. You know, it might take me a little bit, but I see those. So until next time, you have a good one.